me some sun in here, but ain't no sun moving right now. I am not in a good mood today, so we're just gonna have to like keep myself up and running for a good minute because y'all got me fucked up on this app. And I'm not saying y'all, I'm saying certain people decided that they wanted to use my image and likeness to try to say that I got paid for some shit. Bitch, you got me fucked up. These little young ass leftists decided they wanted to go on a fucking live panel and post my pictures from trending up and saying that I got paid to be there. Bitch, if you got to apply to be somewhere, how the fuck can you get paid for it? And if anybody knows Maya Aoni, tell that bitch to come see me, cause I've had enough of her and her little minions, her little code of conduct minions. Y'all little leftist, young ass little kids, y'all really get on my fucking nerves. Really get on my nerves, y'all. I'm 38 hot. Good morning. Because these little bitches got me fucked up. They do. They got me fucked up. And Maya, you are in Atlanta, bitch. Please come see me. We can have a great conversation. I know Maya Aoni is scared to see me face to face. But she can come see me. I'm almost twice your age, sweetheart. I promise I won't drag you. And we will not get in the field. But these little young ass wannabe activists, leftists, decided that they want to do a whole little live stream last night and use my photos from the Trending Up conference that I went to, that I was picked to go to speak to Congress, to speak to people in the congressional plaque. Actually, I didn't even know I was going to be speaking with anybody until like the last minute. I got picked to go speak to the Congressional Black Caucus. I got picked and I didn't even know it. And now these little bitch ass kids are saying that I got paid to go, and everybody in those pictures got paid to go. No one got paid to go any fucking where. Now, for the first time I got on a trip, they paid for your hotel and your plane ticket. Bitch, I didn't get no cash in my hand. Everything else was covered by me. No, CJ and Maya and the other young little girl that was in the young little black girl that was in the group. These little young ass kids talking about, I know that's not Nene. Yes, bitch, it's me. I did something your ass doesn't want to do. I went to talk to them head on. I went to see how we could progress more on the Democratic side and how Republicans are paying content creators to say dumbass shit and to spread propaganda, but they're not investing in content creators in this goddamn side to spread the information they need on a 24/7 basis because they don't use us financially. Okay, that's one thing about the Republican side and the Democratic side. The Democratic side does not pay 90% of the people that speak about what's going on. Bitch, I don't get paid from nobody but TikTok. That's it. And I have a whole nother fucking job. A bitch don't get paid from nobody in the motherfucking government, except when they pull my taxes for Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, and motherfucking taxes. Y'all little ass kids are just not getting in this fucking fight. And y'all talking about fight the fucking system. We need to fight from the outside. We need to break the goddamn system. How you gonna fight for something that you're not even a part of? You can't break a fucking system if you stand on the outside yelling when you can't get in. And now all of a sudden, I'm paid. If I was paid, my car would not be sitting right now fucking broke down in a parking lot while I'm waiting for someone to come fix it. If a bitch was paid, you think I would be online every day? If a bitch was paid? No, I'd be in the Congress. I'd be interviewing them. I'd be doing that shit if a bitch was paid. If I was paid, I would not be living in the same apartment I've been in for 5 years. I would be in a fucking loft somewhere getting high-rise money, okay? I ain't paid for shit. What I do on a regular basis is based on the fact, now I've been flagged for harassment and bullying. So now I have to restart my live because these little bitches are in my room. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. They like they they like to play with me. I ain't the one to be played with. Bitch, I can yell as much as I want. What the fuck are you gonna do? Not a damn thing. Not a damn thing. Y'all little keyboard warriors. Y'all got all that power sitting in your mama basement, don't you? You got all that power sitting in your mama's basement. Yeah. So basically, they go on this whole rant about how most of us that were at the Trending Up conference got paid to be there. And I'm going to tell y'all right now, not one person on the Democratic side that is speaking about progression, that is interviewing these Democrats, these constituents, these representatives, not one of us is being paid for anything. We don't get paid for shit. I do this because it's a service to the black community. This is why I do this. I don't do this to service anybody else but my community. Anybody else that wants to join in and get the information, by all means, come in and sit in and have a good goddamn seat. Okay? Get the information you need. But I don't do this for everybody else. I do this because I know my community. I know we have PTSD from watching the news 24/7. I know we don't want to watch the news. I know that. I know we don't want to pay attention to what's going on in the world because it's always sad. It is tiring. It is stressful. I know that. And so what I'm doing here is for us because I know people don't want to watch the news anymore. I know that. So for them to say that shit, baby, those are words that you don't want to do. And I'm so happy I sent this information. I sent this information over to the other people that are part of these photos that got money, that are lawyers, that have lawyers on retainer. Because now y'all fucking with people's money. See, I don't have any brand deals. I don't have any brand deals. I don't have nobody paying me outside of here. I don't have nothing but me, myself, and I. And in those pictures, I'm probably one of the lowest people on the totem pole. In those pictures, you got people in those pictures that are on BET, on CNN. You got people that are in the fucking Congress every day interviewing people. And you decide to tell them, you decide you want to out them. Oh, baby, you fucking with people money. That's defamation. They will see you in court. And even if they don't win, they're going to wring your ass dry on legal fees. See, I ain't the one you got to worry about because I ain't getting paid by nobody. You got to worry about the ones that's actually making money and actually have brand deals and actually have podcasts and they're being paid. When you fucking with their money, oh, you think it's cute. Maya, you think that's cute. CJ, you think that's cute. And whoever else was in that chat last night. Yes, I have the full recording. And I did send it to everybody that was attached to those pictures that y'all chose to put up last night and say that they're getting paid by the Congressional Black Caucus. And let me make something very clear. The Congressional Black Caucus got that video too. They also have that video. So good luck to you and yours. Because if they decide to file a lawsuit for defamation, baby, I hope y'all got the money. Maya claims that she on food stamps, so we'll see where she get her money from. CJ, you just barely making it out of, what, 20-something years old? Good luck. Because now y'all fucking with people money. Now y'all fucking with people brand deals. Their livelihoods. And these people got kids. They not playing with y'all. Me, you can't hurt me, sweetheart. I ain't attached to nobody. I don't have no brand deals. I'm not under any management company. Okay? I don't have none of that shit. But everybody else in those pictures, they do. And since y'all decided y'all want to run off at y'all mouth and make false accusations against them, good luck. Hold on. She said give every one of them a notice. Ooh, baby. I'm pissed off, but I ain't one of them. I'm not the one that's going to sue you because I ain't got nothing to lose. You can put me up there and I'm gonna laugh at you because baby, you're not getting no money out of me, and you're not gonna get a shot on my platform either. I'm not gonna post you. What happened was a group of young ass leftists that think they're solving the world's problems said that people that went to the Trending Up conference like I did to go and see how we can advocate more for the progression of the Democratic Party, for the progression of the middle class and the lower class, and how we can allocate funds to ourselves so we can do this 24/7. They said that we were paid to be there. They said we were slaves to the Democratic Party and AIPAC and everything else. So when they made those accusations, they setting themselves up for a defamation case. And the people that went there, the pictures that they post are all black people. All of us are black, except for Cole. They posted those pictures and they went live. And I got the live recordings. I don't have screenshots. I have the live recordings of them making those accusations. So I sent them to everybody that is a part of that group. Because that is something you don't do. And also, the head of the Congressional Black Caucus that asked me to interview, because I have the interviews on my page, that selected me to interview some of the representatives of the Congressional Black Caucus, she is aware as well. They didn't pay none of us. They gave us a voucher for Uber. I got a voucher for Uber, so I could Uber to the U.S. Congress and back to go to the airport. That's what I did. I got a voucher so I could get to the U.S. Congress building and to the airport. I ain't get paid. Actually, I lost 4 days of putting out information for y'all so I could go up there and learn some shit. So actually, I lost money because I wasn't posting. I lost money because I was not posting. I didn't gain a goddamn thing but information and the opportunity to speak to some of these representatives. And so now y'all want to call me out because I did something that y'all are unwilling to do, which is step up and speak to them and ask them head to head, what the fuck is going on and what are y'all doing to solve the problem? But they call it trading. They called it being a traitor. You know, I listened to one girl on Genty's live last night as a left. No, either she's a communist or a leftist. I don't know which one she is. But she said in order to break the system, we have to, everybody in the system. Everybody that's up top has to be. That's how we start over. We start militant groups. The black people start revolutions and we start military groups and we start everybody. That's what we do. That's how we start a revolution. I'm going to say this, news fucking flash. As soon as y'all start trying to march out there like y'all want to be a Black Panther movement, as soon as y'all start that Black Panther movement, there will be martial law. There will be martial law. And when martial law is enacted, every one of y'all are either going to be taken out or arrested. So y'all can go ahead and start your little militant group. Why you think we not out there now? We're not stupid. That man is waiting for us to come outside. See, that's what older people and people that have been doing the studying, doing the reading, we understand that. Of course, we don't want the system to be the way it is, but you got to get in the system in order to fight it. You can't fight it from outside. This is not a movie. And people are not going to sacrifice their children for the sake of going outside and being taken out. Y'all want us to march in the streets. Y'all want us to people and everything else. Why don't y'all use y'all brains? Everything can't be taken by force. And let me be very clear. Like I said, why you think we're not out there marching right now? Because we know as soon as we do, Trump is going to enact martial law. He's waiting for black folks to act a fool. He's waiting for us to bring up a militant group. He ain't worried about the Proud Boys doing it or the far right. He's not worried about them marching. He will let them march 24/7. But as soon as we pick up arms, that's the day martial law will be enacted. And you leftists and you communists who claim that that is the only way to get it done, I don't know which one said it, y'all gonna be the first ones taken out. That's just, that is fucking facts. Y'all gonna be the first ones taken out. He's gonna use that excuse to get all these little cop cities that have been made and built up around urban areas. Oh, did y'all forget about that? Those cop cities that have been placed out of every black urban area, every urban city has a cop city sitting outside of it. It is to combat urban warfare, black people, black and brown people. It is for the day that we decide to set shit off. There are people right outside waiting on us. And those people are trained by Israel, who already said black young individuals are the problem in America when it comes to us doing what the fuck we gotta do, and nobody's saying shit about it. But y'all want to go out there and be a fucking militant group because that's the only way to break the system. Y'all willing to risk y'all lives. I'm sorry, my grandmother and my great-grandmother didn't fight hard enough. My grandfather didn't fight in that war. Both of my grandfathers did not fight as Marines for me not to use my brain and my education to go against the system. They didn't do all that fucking fighting. They didn't make it through the South for me to put my body out there instead of using my mind. And my part is educating people on what's going on in the world so they keep their head on a swivel. That is my part. I promised my mom and my dad that I would not go out there anymore after 2020, after Black Lives Matter movement. I made that promise to them, to find another way to protest, to find another way to educate. And this is the way I'm doing it. But there are those out there that are leftists, that are communists. I don't know which one that girl was, but they believe in a militant army being built. They believe in the sacrificing of the children so the next generation can live. But y'all mad at me for using my education and my brains to go speak directly to the people that can change everything. That's why I say midterms are important. That's why I say flipping the House and the Senate is important. Jasmine Crockett just went on the goddamn news yesterday and said if she is made head of the committee in the minority House, she is going to file impeachment papers. If we get the Senate, baby, that goes up. Midterms are important. That is when our voice will be heard and we can flip seats in the House and the Senate. I know it's blind rage with no emotion because when you ask them what is the plan, that is all they have. That is all they have when they ask what's the plan. And I'm sorry, Martin Luther King didn't get the Civil Rights Act signed with violence. Violence was done towards him. He didn't get that with violence. Most of the shit that we have right now was not done with violence. It was done with a vote. The Black Panther Party organized. Yes, they were more about their community than anything else. And if that's something that they want to do, be about their community, open up food houses, do ETC, I love it. But don't forget what happened to the Black Panther movement. Don't forget what they were known as after a fact, a TR group. Don't forget that what happened to them when the government decide to attack them? Are we not learning from our past? I don't think violence is the way for everything, because I'm a Malcolm X type of chick. But Malcolm X also used his mind. And he used the fear of intimidation. Those men in those suits made them fearful because they looked like black educated men. It wasn't because they were lined up like soldiers. They were in suits. They were educated. The one thing they can't take from us is our education. And y'all mad at me for going to a conference to learn how I could educate more, how I could advocate more, how I could use my platform better. And yes, how I could be able to do this full time on a full-time fucking salary, so I could quit my 9 to 5, so I can do this 24/7. Because Republicans are paying their people. They are paying their people to speak 24/7. They are giving them the funds they need to keep speaking for them. What's wrong with the Democratic Party doing the same fucking thing? What is wrong with that? We're already doing the work. Why shouldn't we get paid for it so we can do it 24/7? Why? That's a crime? That is a crime to learn how to monopolize my way of speaking so that I can do it 24/7, so I can lean into what I'm good at, which is speaking up. But y'all want to go ahead and y'all want to have a defamation case. So go off with your defamation case. Go off and keep posting pictures of these people who are lawyers, who have agencies behind them, who have shit to lose. I hope y'all got the time and the money to do so, because when y'all go to court, fees are going to come out of you. And I hope you have at least $1,000 to retain a lawyer. I hope you have at least $1,000 to retain him. Not all the extra work he's going to do behind it. I hope you have that money, because y'all not playing with children. Y'all playing with grown ass people with grown ass lives that have children and mouths to feed. Y'all not playing with little kids on TikTok. I think that's where y'all got it messed up. Y'all are kids on TikTok. Y'all barely 20, 25. And y'all playing with people's livelihood. I hope and pray y'all prepared for that. Now, I'm going to get to the goddamn news. That is my rant. And no, these people do not get action on my page. No, they will not get a post. I don't give people that pleasure. But let them play that game on their own. I got an hour to let this shit out. All right. So Keir Starmer of Britain has said they are ready for war. They're getting ready for war. Britain is getting ready for war. But they don't have the funds. They don't have the funds to go to war. Now, the things they're saying they're needing for war sounds a bit much. A bit much. I'm just, I don't know who you are, but stop requesting me. So speaking ahead of a lunch on Monday, Strategic Defense Review, SDR, the Prime Minister said he would move the country into warfighting readiness as the central purpose for our armed forces. Now, they've set out more than 60 new measures designed to strengthen the country's ability to fight and help protect allies. I think this has something to do with NATO. It is recommended the UK is expanding their submarine program, which will create 30,000 new jobs and 1.5 billion on technology. They need submarines. They need arsenals. They need everything. And at this point, as the report spelled out, state conflict has returned to Europe, with Russia demonstrating its willingness to use military force, inflict harm on civilians, and threaten the use of nuclear weapons to achieve their goals. So, if NATO has to go off in the next year or so, Baby, everybody's going on. Everybody's going on call. On top of that, y'all saw what Trump posted yesterday about China not being ready, China, fucking up the Geneva Convention deal when it came to tariffs. Well, China has countered that. And China says the US is undermining the consensus. The administration is increasing tech export restrictions and putting pressure on Chinese student visas. On top of that, Pete Hegseth, I'm glitching. Am I glitching, y'all? Please let me know if I'm glitching. How am I glitching? No, glitching. No, you're glitching. No. I don't know how. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to keep going. Hopefully it stops glitching. The Pentagon chief, Pete Hegseth, warned Saturday that the threat from China in the Indo-Pacific was real and imminent. Now, let me tell y'all, I told y'all about China doing their military practices around Taiwan. I told y'all yesterday that China wants Taiwan back in the fold by 2027. That is 2 years. Well, the United States says that wasn't practiced. It's imminent, and we know that now. So this is causing an issue. So China and U.S. are about to go at it over Taiwan. They said they need to get out of the Indo-Pacific, and they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. Swipe and come back. It's glitching. Is it glitching now? Is it glitching now? No. Okay, so the U.S. Indo-Pacific Commander calls PLA operations in Taiwan a straight rehearsal, not just an exercise. The U.S. commander in the Pacific said on Monday that Beijing was on a dangerous course and its operations around Taiwan went not mere exercise but rehearsal. We face a profoundly consequential time in the Indo-Pacific. China is merging your live and your recap. What? I'm just going to keep going. China is on the dangerous course, said Admiral Samuel Pompeo, head of the U.S. Indo-Pacific Command, in a special address at the XI Expo hosted by Special Competitive Studies and Project Think Tank. The aggressive maneuvers in around Taiwan are not just an exercise, they're a rehearsal, without explicit reference to potential takeover of Taiwan. We already know that China wants them by 2027. That is their window, which means that us as America will have to go and fight for Taiwan. Which makes sense on why the U.S. government has shut down all Job Corps. I'm just bringing it around, hypothetically speaking. You shut down all Job Corps. Where do those kids have to go? A lot of them are homeless now. What are they going to do? They're either going to go in and try to join the armed forces, or they're going to be in a shelter. Which one would I take? Would I go to the armed forces where I'm going to get a full meal, or would I go and live in a homeless shelter? Honestly, let's be real. A lot of these kids won't have nowhere to go. A lot of these kids will not have anywhere to go, so they may go into the armed forces. And right now, the U.S. needs bodies. They're going to need bodies if we go at it with China over Taiwan. So yes, in a matter of days, TikTok will be gone unless Trump does something without China being a part of the situation. But right now, we are bumping heads. And we don't know what China's retaliation is yet to all these accusations Trump is putting out and everything they're doing to the students. They're telling the students in China and in the United States that they have to go if they're from China. They have to go back home. They have to go home. What kind of BS is that? What kind of BS is that? Why should I have to leave? But that's just what's going on right now. I don't know how it's going to develop. I hope that, China backs off of Taiwan, the US and China have a sit down, we get these tariffs together, and everybody's all good and happy. Do I believe that shit's going to happen? No. I don't believe that shit's going to happen. But one can keep their hopes up, okay? One can keep their hopes up. Now, remember I told you that RFK Jr. produced studies that weren't real, that weren't actually true, that no scientists had wrote. Those journals weren't true. Well, come to find out, before they put out that study that was made up, they canceled the research funding for autism from MIT and Harvard. The study that they needed for autism, they canceled the funding for it. So you made up shit when you actually had a valuable study that was being done to make up shit. So it fits your narrative, not the actual truth. So it fits your narrative. That is insane. But that is how the US is working. On top of that, where is that headline? Hold on. The US Veterans Agency. The US Veterans Agency is orders scientists not to publish in journals without clearance. So, Trump has stated that no scientific journal may be produced without his approval. I did not know that was the process. I thought scientists were able to do their work without being hovered over. He don't want nothing coming out unless he approves the study. He wants to politically control doctors and scientists, publish research to fit a pattern of censorship by the Trump administration. Like, that is, you should never be able to, you should never censor scientists. That you should never fuck with. We need to know what's going on. We need to know how things are moving. He wants them to fit a narrative that does not make any sense. So senior officials at the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs have ordered that VA physicians and scientists not publish medical journals or speak with the public without seeking clearance from a political appointees of Donald Trump. Wow. So these emails came down on Friday. The VA Assistant Secretary of Public and Intergovernmental Affairs and a senior advisor of VA Secretary came hours after the prestigious New England Journal of Medicine published a perspective co-authored by two pulmonologists, I don't know what the fuck that is, who worked in the VA in Texas. So they must have put out something that wasn't approved by Trump. It says the article warned that canceled contracts, layoffs, and planned staff reduction of 80,000 employees in the nation's largest integrated healthcare system jeopardizes the health of a million veterans. A million veterans seeking help for conditions linked to toxic exposure, ranging from the Vietnam exposed to the Agent Orange, to veterans in Iraq and Afghanistan who developed cancer after being exposed to smoke from piles of flaming toxic waste. Oh, so these people ain't important. People who fought in Iraq, people who fought in Vietnam. It's going to harm a million of our veterans. It's going to put a million of our veterans' health in jeopardy. People who fought for this country. People who fought for this country won't be able to get help. And now those studies won't be able to be published, so they're aware of what's going on because Trump says it doesn't fit their narrative. And it's funny, I thought Trump was for the troops. I thought the MAGA, I thought MAGA loved their troops. I thought MAGA loved the veterans. But y'all willing to let them suffer. Y'all willing to let them suffer. Somebody get Kaylani out of here. Baby, you're not just gonna come up here and ask to support your GoFundMe. We don't do that here. That's just rude. You want to do a GoFundMe, you need to talk to me, and I need to know why you need a GoFundMe. Thank you. But yeah, so that's that. But we did get a win in the Supreme Court. We did get a win in Supreme Court. I don't want to act like everything is bad. We did get a win in Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has declined to hear 2 gun cases: the Maryland assault weapons ban and the Rhode Island's ban on high-capacity magazines. This is a huge win. This means the law stays in place. Y'all won't be getting those bad boys. It will not be overturned. They didn't even want to hear the shit. Because no civilian should have access to this shit. No civilian. No civilian should have access to this whatsoever. We all know what happened in Boulder, Colorado, right? We already know what happened. I'm going to make it very clear. The man that allegedly set people on fire with Molotov cocktails, he is not a U.S. citizen. He was denied asylum in 2023. He did appeal it, but it has not come back. And now Trump is trying to blame Biden for it. Trump is trying to blame Biden for it. Yeah, he had an expired visa. It happens. He drove for Uber. He produced all the proper documents. And he said he'd been thinking about this for a year. He wanted to get rid of all Zionists. That's what he said. He wanted to get rid of all Zionists. Do I agree with what he did? Nope, I don't. But like I said last week, when y'all backing these people into a corner and they have nothing left, innocent people are going to catch it. Innocent people are going to be caught in the crossfire. And this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to keep happening. If this doesn't stop, it's going to start coming to our front doors. It's going to start coming to our front doors. These people are not, they're not radicalized. They're tired. They are tired. They are tired of their voices not being heard. They're tired of their people being destroyed, ripped from this earth. They are tired of it. And when people are tired, they go to the wildest thing. Let's just take them all that. Let's just take them all out. Anybody and everybody that's attached to it. This is just what it is. So, a pro-Palestinian activist disrupted an AI summit in D.C. Y'all know I talked about Planeteer or Planeteer. I can't remember how you say it, but the guy that's been tapped, the company that's been tapped to create this database full of all Americans and all our information in one place. That company, come to find out, they are allegedly responsible for the drones that are in Palestine and Gaza being dropped. Yes. They are allegedly responsible for the drones that are being dropped, the BOMBs that are being dropped in Palestine. I'm not shocked at all. I really am not. Everything is always connected. They're always connected. They're always connected. And they're getting bank from the government. They are making bank from the government. They just won like a what, $370 million contract deal from the government. They're making bank. They are damn sure making money. And speaking of bank, baby, so the US Treasury has raked, I want y'all to listen to me, raked a record setting $22.3 billion in tariff revenue during May. Tariffs, $22.3 billion in 1 month, which means us as the consumers, we paid $22.3 million in tariffs in the month of May. We paid $22.3 billion in tariffs, because if you don't understand how tariffs work, tariffs come from international imports, okay? When these companies purchase things from outside of the country and it's imported into the country, there is a tariff tax attached to it, okay? So that tariff tax is attached to those merchandise, whatever you want to call it, supplies that they purchase, comes into America. The company pays that tariff. Then what they do is when they get ready to put it on shelves for consumers, they uptick the price to counter the tariffs they had to pay for them to be imported. So at the end of the day, we paid $22.3 billion in May for tariffs. $16.5 billion in April. It's just another name for tax. It's an extra tax on us. And $8.8 billion was collected in March. These tariffs are not costing anybody but us, the consumer. At the end of the day, the tariffs are costing us, no one else. The consumers will put that on us. Everything will go up because of those tariffs. And if China decides not to send anything over here, we're going to have tariffs and empty shelves. We're going to have tariffs and empty shelves. Yay, us. Yay, us. And I'm sorry. I am worried. I'm worried. I am worried about what China is going to do when it comes to these tariffs. I'm worried. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to BS with you. I'm nervous because China is really, if China decides to set shit off, they can. They can. When it comes to import and export. Hold on, y'all. This is about my car. Yeah, because I got to pay somebody to fix a 2008 car. Yay, bitch. I'm big money. So yeah, we're paying for that, which is great. Great. So, you know, the U.S. aid that has been pulled from everybody and anybody around the world. 8 groups say that the U.S. aid cuts have already had a DEADLY consequence. More than 300,000 people have lost their lives. 300,000. Children and women have lost their lives due to no water, malaria, HIV, AIDS, food, medicine. This is what U.S. aid provides. Over 300,000 people are gone. They're gone because Trump shut down U.S. aid. And you know where that U.S. aid is sitting? Some of it is sitting in Texas, rotting in storage areas. This was already allocated. Food was already ready to be sent out. Medication was already ready to be sent out. And in the past 6 months, as they've cut this aid, 300,000 people have lost their lives around the world. 300,000. That makes me sad. That makes me sad. That makes me that this is what we're dealing with. A heartless, we've never turned our back on the world, even though we are corrupt in areas, and I'm not going to even take away from that. There are some things that the US does that I do not fucking agree with, but giving aid to other countries that need help is one thing I did agree with. I did agree with. I did agree with. But hey, this is what we're good for. Hold on. So Republicans feel like the best way, some Republicans feel like Republicans cutting Medicaid is what's best, because the best health care is getting a job. They said that the best way to combat health care, the best way to get health care is to get a job. Y'all know these people on Medicaid, some of them cannot get jobs. A lot of them are children. I think they forget that. How is a child supposed to get a job? Now, he is the Republican representative that said this is from North Dakota. North Dakota is a red state. Oh, well, let them have it. Red states ain't the smartest states any damn way, and I'm going to say it. Y'all always at the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to education and ETC. Healthcare, women's healthcare, bottom. They said that the best way to combat and to cut Medicaid is for people to get jobs. People on disability. There are children on Medicaid. How the hell is a child supposed to get a job? A baby. Oh, Jody Ernest has a person battling her, and the lady that said Medicaid is everybody gets anyways. Everybody's gonna anyways. When she was talking to her constituents, oh baby, she's got somebody running against her now. Yes, Joni Ernest then opened up her mouth. Republican Jody Ernest has opened up her mouth, and now she has somebody running against her. Now, you didn't put your foot in your mouth completely. You've gotten a Democratic representative to come on and step on up and go ahead and take your slot. I'm looking for his name. Hold on, because that was in my recap. What is his name? Democratic Representative J.D. Scholten decided to launch his campaign against Jody Ernest after she said what she said. He wants her seat. And she's in Iowa Senate. He wants that Iowa seat. And the way her constituents were acting, baby, he may get that seat. He may get that seat. Yeah, I already got the Latinos are better out of here. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Yes, midterms, everybody needs to vote. We all know what happened to the student that was picked up. The 18-year-old student that was going to volleyball practice to play. A straight A student, an honor student, who was picked up and arrested. His name is Marcelo Gomes. He wasn't supposed to be picked up. They thought it was his dad. They're keeping him in ICE custody. They're basically using that boy for bait. They're using him for bait to get his dad to come out of wherever he is. Why are you still holding him when you know y'all not looking for him and he's a U.S. citizen? When you know he's a U.S. citizen, but it's okay because we're just looking for his daddy. We're looking for his daddy. So that's great. White House Budget Director, author of Project 2025, Russell Vought, said that Trump is not watching and not using his Project 2025 book to lead the administration, to make his decisions, and that Trump's bill will not impact Americans' health care. We all know that's bullshit, right? Trump is reading directly from Project 2025. All of his shit has come from Project 2025. Trump is not smart. He needs a guide. As y'all know, during the election, he did not have not one thing he wanted to put out. He didn't have not one policy. He just had a bunch of talk, a bunch of bullshit. That is his playbook. And Russell Vought is his little ear talking. This man has his hands in the budget and he has his hands on Trump. And I don't want y'all to forget that the Heritage Foundation is a part of Project 2025. And the Heritage Foundation is a white Christian nationalist group. It's a white Christian nationalist group, okay? They have been putting their foot in this system for as long as Bush and Reagan have been in. They've been trying to turn this country into a white Christian nationalist country for years. Years. And on top of that, please say I sent that over. Frumpy wants to open a State Department that seeks an office of re-immigration. To create an office of re-immigration and restructuring. The proposed new office would signal the State Department's shift from helping refugees to removing immigrants, even as it employs the term re-immigration, a concept that critics have said has a trouble in Europe as a far-right group call command. What did they call it? Eugenics? Yes. It is about eugenics. It is about an ethnic cleansing. An ethnic cleansing. This was used in Austria, Germany. This was used in Austria and Germany for ethnic cleansing. We know how that shit went, right? So now we have in the administration, in the White House, we have an area that is strictly for combating Christian ideologies and making sure that Christianity comes first in the government. We've got prayer and worship happening in the White House and the Pentagon. And now we have an office that may be used for ethnic cleansing. We have mass deportations. Even if you're American, you're being picked up just because you look a certain way. And now we have this. This is all about white nationalism, and I don't care. I don't care what none of y'all say. Yes, a couple of y'all that are white, that are part of the middle class and the lower class will be hit. But this is more about cleansing the United States of anybody that is not pale and cannot stand in the sun. This is just what it is. And it's scary to think that this man can get away with this. And that's why I am urging y'all to look at these primaries, to look at the votes that you have going in to look at the elections that are in your counties, in your cities, who's running for those spots. Be mindful. This is how the Republican Party snuck in, y'all. They started small. They started in counties and school board education. They started running for mayors. This is how they started. Because America control everything. Education, that's our children. The moms of liberty? How you think burning books started and removing our shit, our history from every other culture but white culture started getting removed from schools? They started small. Democrats didn't want to see that shit. They started small and they started to work their way up. And they had already planted a seed. They planted seeds everywhere. And they spread like fucking vines. This is why it's important for y'all to pay attention to what's going on in your damn city and your county. Make sure that no Republicans get those seats. Advocate for progressives, for Democrats, hell, for even leftists and liberals. Anybody but them. Conservative, no. Conservative means white. White and Christian. In my brain, that's exactly where I go when I hear conservative. I don't see anything else when I hear conservative. Conservatives want to hold their pockets. They want to stay rich and wealthy, and they don't want anybody else to have any money. They don't want anybody else to have any money. But this is what we're dealing with. Now, this doesn't have a race added to it. But nearly 200,000 student loan borrowers are at risk of getting a portion of their Social Security checks garnished. Garnished by the end of this month. By the end of this month. 200,000 student loan borrowers are at risk of getting a portion of their Social Security checks garnished by the end of this month. Late this summer, all 5.3 million defaulted borrowers will receive a notice from the Treasury that their earnings will be subjected to administrative wage garnishment. That is coming to 5.3 million of us. And that means anybody that went to college that has a student loan that is unsubsidized or subsidized, a Parent Plus loan, a grad loan, all of them are coming through. All of them are coming up. So everybody be noticed. The department said it sent a 30-day notice to 195,000 people who defaulted on student loan borrowers in May, warning them that benefits will be garnished. This move results from the Trump administration restarting collections on defaulted student loans on May 5th. Under a pause that was put in place by Trump during the pandemic. So not only are we paying higher taxes because of tariffs, we're also going to be garnished on our wages. That's just, people are about to be pissed off. People are about to be pissed off. I'm pissed shit. I'm waiting for the letter to pop out. I am waiting for the letter to come out. I'm not joking. I'm literally waiting for that shit to pop out. And here's another, I'm gonna read this down for y'all. We've got a McMahon, a woman that was head of the WWF or WWCW Federation. Her husband was a part of the WCW Wrestling Federation. As the head, the Secretary of Education. 1. We got a Fox News host, Defense Secretary. 2. We've got RFK Jr., who says don't seek him out for medical advice as our health advisor for the health administration. Okay. Now we've got the man who is acting head of FEMA. Oh, we got Kristi Noem. Forgot what the fuck she does, but we've got the acting head of FEMA said he wasn't aware that the U.S. has a hurricane season. Bruh! How the This is what we call a diversity, equity, and inclusion administration. These people were hired not because they were smart, not because they were well educated in the areas that they have been placed in. It was because they were white and they were loyalists to Trump. And some of them are not well educated and versed in their areas. How the fuck didn't you know that we didn't have a hurricane season? What you thought all them damn wreckages in the Midwest were just the rain? Staff of the Federal Emergency Management Agency was confused and dispirited on Monday after acting of the head agency said during a daily brief that he had not been aware that the country has a hurricane season, according to 3 sources. The remark was made by David Richardson at the conclusion of an 8:30 a.m. daily operational briefing, typically attended by hundreds of FEMA staffers and interagency partners. You said this in front. This man is a former Marine Corps officer. This is the man that replaced the man that said that Trump was not handling FEMA properly and it was not a good idea to cut FEMA. The man that spoke out in front of the U.S. Congress against Trump that said that this was not good. Cutting FEMA would cost a lot of lives. He was replaced with this man. He was replaced with this man, a former Marine Corps officer. What do you know about FEMA? Natural disasters. The man before him had been there for years. If it was not clear to the staff whether he meant it as a literally or a joke, but current and foreign employees who spoke with CBS News said the comment flustered many who genuinely believe Richardson was truly surprised to learn that hurricane season had started. So all those people that lost their lives, 2 weeks ago? Like, I'm not laughing because it's funny. Hurricane season begin June 1st. That's why they had the meeting. Hurricane season begin June 1st. That's why they had the meeting. The NOAA, the National Oceanography, I can't say that word, say shit. This goddamn bracelet be fucking me up. Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration recently predicted it would be an above average hurricane season that could bring 13 to 19 named storms, with 6 to 10 becoming hurricanes and 3 to 5 strengthening into major hurricanes. Now, you know they cut the NOAA, the people that actually study this shit, they cut them. They cut them. They cut their studies. People that actually pay attention to this shit and how it actually forms in hurricane season, they cut the funding for them. Now we don't know what's coming down the pipeline. We need FEMA and NOAA. Those people are important. Florida definitely needs them because, baby, y'all time is coming and y'all know that. Every year y'all get hit. Every year y'all get hit. And y'all need that warning. When there was a hurricane hit in Atlanta last week, there were no sirens. No sirens, no indication that a hurricane had hit Atlanta. No one knew. Everybody was blindsided. There was nothing on the news. There was nothing coming down from the national weather emergency area. We had no idea until it hit. Until it hit. People were like, we got no heads up. No heads up. And this is what happens when you cut shit like this. This is what happens when you cut government funded programs to keep us alive. This is basically to keep us alive. To be able, I usually hear a siren if something comes. I ain't gonna hear shit. It's just gonna hit. A lot of people are going to be, sadly, if they don't fix this shit, a lot of people are going to be unalived during this hurricane season that lasts almost 6 months. A lot of people are going to lose their lives. But it's okay. It's okay. You know? All for Doge. All for the 1% to get their money. All for them to get their money. They're going to slice people's way of getting a heads up. This is the oh. Now, I'm gonna give y'all some African news, some good news. This is good news from Africa. Studies show that Africa is rising out of the ocean. Africa is literally rising. No one can explain it, but Africa is rising. I don't know. I feel like that's God's way of saying Africa is. It's time for Africa to shine. I feel like that's something like God is saying, like it's time for Africa to get its shine. Those who are last shall be first, and those who are first shall be last. And I think it's time for Africa to be first. Africa is literally rising out of the fucking ocean. They can't explain that shit whatsoever. I think that's fucking awesome. I think that's great. On top of that, Uganda discovers over 31 million metric tons of gold, ore valued at $12 trillion. $12 trillion Uganda has just found. Let's add to that. Burkina Faso has partnered with China to install 900 surveillance cameras across the country as a part of the Smart Burkina project. Let's add to that. Let's add to that. Ghana, they will now have a process for their visas. Your process will only be 5 days, so you can get that real quick. President Ibrahim of Burkina Faso, I feel like this president should be the example for all leaders around the world. His net worth is only $128,000. He keeps his military money. He refuses to go up. He said, what is the point? Why do I need that much money? He refused to take a salary increase. Love that. Ghana signs a $1 billion deal with the UAE to build a tech hub in Ningo. I hope I said that right. Ningo. Big money. Africa's agricultural business could be a net worth of $1 trillion by 2030. I'm just saying. Africa's doing its big one. Africa is doing its big one. I love it. I love it. Y'all not gonna be able to eat off Africa for the rest of y'all life. They are closing ranks. They are starting to close ranks, and the more and more, the more and more of them catch that vibe and realize that the outer worlds need them more than they need them. Baby, they ain't gonna have no choice but to bend the knee and make deals that gives profits to Africa. But we got an issue, y'all. U.S. Africa Command declares Sahel global terrorism epicenter. Top U.S. military commander and leading in Africa has issued a stark warning about the rapid expansion of terrorist groups in the Sahel region. Now, this is General Mike Langley. Now, I've told y'all about Mike Langley over the past couple of weeks and how he's trying to get into Burkina Faso. And now that Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali, and I think Chad are all starting to team up and realize they can work better together and form their own union, America's not happy about that shit. Neither is France, because they losing money big time. Sweden just got pissed off with Mali and told them to cut their relationship with Russia. Mali told them, you got 3 days to get the fuck out. So, I'm going to make it very clear. The Sahel is a critical hotspot, according to the U.S., for global terrorism. It is enhanced cooperation of the African nations to address the threats through intelligence sharing. They're saying Al-Qaeda and ISIS is affiliated in those organizations. Y'all want to know where the Sahel is located? It flows through Mali, Niger, Chad, Sudan, Eritrea, and Burkina Faso. They not slick. They not slick. They not slick. We already know what they setting up for. They try to find any reason to get close to Burkina Faso and President Ibrahim. They're trying to find any reason to get close to this man and declaring that area a terrorist area all through that spot where Mali, Niger, Chad, and Burkina Faso have all joined together. Oh yeah, that's a smart way. But don't think people are not paying attention. Don't think people are not paying attention. And I guarantee you, now that China and Russia are inside of Burkina Faso making deals, they're not going to let shit happen to that country. That's another fucking reason why China would be on our asses. Oh my God. That's another reason. That is another reason why they would be on our asses. They want that gold. They want those resources, and they don't want them to be bargained. They want them. It's no bargaining chip. I'm just being real. I'm trying to make sure that I'm not just putting anything out there. So I had to ask. I asked Google where the hell Sahel is located, and I was like, hold on, bro. You trying to claim that's a terrorist organization and they're tied to Al-Qaeda and ISIS, and these countries are trying to form another union so Africa can be strong? Be fucking for real. Be fucking for real. Y'all, you can easily put this shit together. You can easily put this shit together. They're not slick. On top of that, Trump rolled back his proposal to Iran. He reneged on that hoe. Okay, Iran, y'all know when it comes to the nuclear uranium enrichment program that will allow Iran to produce nuclear missiles and etc. no matter what. Well, it looks like Donald, he sent a special envoy to Iran, saying that they were okay with keeping their enrichment uranium program as long as they weren't trying to use it to produce missiles. Well, Trumpy said no, saying he will insist that Tehran fully dismantle its nuclear enrichment program as a part of any deal to ease crushing sanctions. They're not doing that. They said the Trump administration maintains that they will not allow Iran to develop a nuclear weapon. The negotiations have been framed by Trump as both countries' best chance to avoid the directive military conflict over Iran's nuclear program. Tehran, which denies seeking a nuclear weapon, has insisted that they will not agree to any deal that fully scrapes their enrichment program. They not giving that shit up. They not giving it up. And on top of that, Yemen, who supplies the Houthis, who gets supply from the UAE, has sent a message out to Israel companies, foreign companies that are in Israel. They told them to get the hell out or face the consequences. They said, Israel, foreign companies, get the fuck out or face consequences. I don't know what the consequences are. But I can imagine that that is not a good thing to hear. I can imagine, somebody telling me to get the fuck out or face the consequences. I don't think that's like a, a ha funny moment. I'd be thinking about getting the fuck out. They giving y'all options to get y'all asses and get your shit. Get your shit and get out. They're giving you an option, okay? They said Yemen warns all foreign companies to leave Israel now or bear the consequences. Yemen Supreme Political Council President Mahid Allah Masad, I hope I said that right, has warned companies operating in Israel occupation to withdraw immediately or remain there at their own risk. He says the circumstances in Israel's entity are unsafe. He said he warned companies to choose to remain there. They must bear the consequences. Hey, I would be thinking about getting the hell out. I don't know about everybody else, but a bitch would be leaving. You ain't got to tell me twice. You ain't got to tell me twice. On top of that, I want to know how this happened under this administration. How this happened under this administration. 2 foreign nationalists charged with trying to smuggle a U.S. military tech missiles into China. You heard me right. 2 foreign nationalists charged with trying to smuggle a U.S. military tech missile into China. How the fuck did they get that? How the fuck they get a whole missile? I can't say these names, but they were 43 years old and they were 63-year-old of the UK, allegedly sought missiles and an air defense radar, drones, and cryptographic device, and also plotted to spy on an American who spoke out against the Chinese president. Bruh. This ain't funny, bruh. That ain't funny. How the fuck was they able to get that shit? How? We're supposed to be airtight, right? We're supposed to be locked in, and this is Fox News reported this, okay? If you don't think it's real, go to Fox News. They reported this shit. PD boy doing damn push-ups. Boy, you need to be worrying about this, okay? You need to be worrying about this, my boy. That is insane. Okay. There's a lot more I wanted to get to. I just want to let you know that the Americans do not trust the government. The government is not doing the job. And a record high of them said the public says the government should be doing more to solve problems. Most Americans say the government should do more to solve problems. That's a 58% to a 41%. Most continue to see diversity as enriching and not threatening, the American culture. So, black folks like me are not threatening. That is a 72% to 27%. Okay? Let me see. Support for legalizing abortion under any circumstances is the highest it has been in decades, with a 36% hike. 36% hike. In most of the USA, the democracy is under threat. That is 49%. 49% of Americans. That means half of America feels like the democracy is under threat. And let me tell y'all MAGA people, y'all won with more than half of the votes. So some of your people believe this shit too. Some of your people believe this shit too. Okay, just want to let y'all know. It's not just us. Now, the last thing I want to discuss, because I got 3 minutes left. I was on a live last night, and a young lady came up, and she wanted us to be aware that Eritreans are being put into slavery. Eritreans are going through a genocide, and they're being put into modern day slavery, and no one is talking about it. And when I looked up information, I looked for information. I tried to search up and down, and I could barely find anything. I could barely find anything about this. Yes, Cove. I'm sorry, Cove. Her name is Cove. I was looking up and down for information all this morning, and I could barely find anything, y'all. It is sad that there is barely a little bit of information. This is Eritrea is among the most oppressed and censored countries in the world due to the decrees that grant President Isaias Afwerki total power to target civil rights and silence media. In late 2020, the Ethiopian military invaded the Tigray region of Ethiopia with a tacit consent of the Ethiopian government, as both countries see the Tigrayan People's Liberation as a common enemy. Eritrean soldiers have targeted ethnic Tigrayans with pillage and mass rape and genocidal massacres. I don't know much of what's going on, but I want to read up on it more. I know what's going on in Haitian. I know what's going on in Congo. And baby, the prime minister in DR in Congo, the prime minister of DR in Congo, he has been arrested and charged 10 years of forced labor for embezzling over $200 million. I don't know what the embezzlement was a part of, but I think it was allowing what is going on in the DR Congo right now with Rwanda and the militant group. I'm going to look more into this information, but if anybody has any information on this G side, please send it to me because I want to know more about it. With that being said, I have to go into work. I actually have a job, I don't get paid by people. I actually have to work for my money. Okay, to all you fucking little leftists that said I got paid, fuck y'all. And y'all kiss my ass. Make sure you lick the middle, both cheeks, okay? Everybody else have a good day. I will see you tomorrow. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Bye. I can never cut this bitch off when I want to. Cut it off. Okay. Bye, YouTube land and all the haters.